never really struggled with my gender identity. I always felt like I'm a girl. My realization was a lot more, oh, everyone thinks I'm a boy.
Abby Stein was born and raised as a male in the Hasidic community of Williamsburg. She went from being a rabbi to a trans woman and activist.
This is the foundation. Put it on today already, but it was like fading. Every night before I went to sleep, I prayed to God that I want to wake up as a girl. I could never imagine a perfect life living as a man. So when I was around 4 years old, I started having this feeling that my private parts are just wrong. At some point, I tried to hurt myself in my private parts. To be honest, I didn't know what's the difference between boys and girls physically because it was never discussed in our community. I grew up in Williamsburg. So Williamsburg is an enclave of Hasidic Jews. The community has their own dress code, their own language. You could go years without interacting ever one-on-one with someone who's not Jewish. So the stronger I started struggling with my own body, the way I would try to deal with it would be religion.
At 15, her family sent her to study to become a rabbi in the Catskill Mountains of New York. While she knew something was wrong, she suppressed her identity and never openly strayed from the teachings of the private compound.
I was there until I was around 20, which at the time I was already married and I had a son. By the time we started expecting my son, gender started getting really hard on me once again. Is it going to be a boy? Is it going to be a girl? What if my baby is going to be just like me and the doctors are going to say one thing, but in reality, it's going to be another thing? It started punching me in the face. Everything that I've done up to that point to make it work, such as trying different prayers and hoping everything is just going to go away, it didn't work anymore. And they're a very sheltered community that can only survive if you don't ask questions. Now I actually had these questions. I was like, I need to find answers. And I knew I'm not going to find these answers in a kosher place, so to speak. One of the things that I knew exists, that is this really, really terrible place, is the internet.
In Abby's community, the internet was a threat to all their traditions and values. In 2012, 40,000 ultra-Orthodox Jews packed Citi Field to rally against the dangers of the internet.
So I knew there was something like Wi-Fi, which is you get it in the ear and you connect certain devices to it. I knew a friend who had a tablet that I don't know if he ever connected it to the internet up to that point. I found this shopping center that had a unisex, single-stall bathroom that was totally closed, and they had a really great Wi-Fi connection. So I started sitting there for days, browsing the internet. The first thing that I Googled on the internet was something about a boy turning into a girl. I wasn't expecting to find anything. And then suddenly I found this entire world of the trans community out there. In the beginning, I couldn't speak English at all. So I read the Hebrew Wikipedia page on transgender. I was shocked. And at the same time, instead of feeling relieved, I started feeling more anxious. So maybe I'm not totally insane, but should I actually do anything like that? Oh my God, what's going to happen here?
After 3 months of online research, Abby made two important decisions: to tell her then wife how she felt and to leave her community.
I told my wife what's going on. We separated in the spring of 2013. We got divorced summer of 2013, and I finally left in the fall. It took me a while, but I managed to find Jewish communities, Jewish literature, Jewish traditions that still speak to me.
She also got a high school diploma and was accepted into Columbia University, a big deal considering she barely spoke English not long before. But there was still one more step in Abby's journey.
Every step that I took in my life, getting an education, learning English, leaving the community, and getting into college, the hardest part was coming out to myself and telling myself, listen, Abby, this is what you have to do.
In her first semester of college in 2013, Abby was still living as a man.
Started school, I was really great, got a straight A's the first half of the semester, and then I got a breakdown. I fell into depression. I couldn't deal with it. That was a time when I realized if I want to get anywhere in life, I have to transition.
So after years of internally struggling with identity, she did.
I started hormone therapy on September 4th, 2015.
And it turns out that was just the beginning. Abby described her bodily changes as a fresh start.
There isn't a single part of my body that hasn't changed. Seeing your body change, first of all, made me appreciate human anatomy. It's so interesting how hormones actually affect everything. I've been more productive in the last 18 months than I've been in my first 24 years combined. This is the updated birth certificate, which name says female and no corrections.
Transitioning into a woman wasn't the only thing Abby had to deal with. After years of living in an isolated community, she was finally experiencing a new world.
There's a lot of overlaps between leaving a fundamentalist religious community and transitioning. Shopping for clothing outside of my community for the first time is very similar to trans people going to shop for female or male clothing for the first time. People who leave the ultra-Orthodox community are immigrants in their own country. We don't know the language. We don't know the culture. The first time I walked into a Starbucks, I had to walk into the barista and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. How do I order?
But through it all, Abby's home community did not support her decisions.
I came out to my parents. I really tried to have an honest conversation with my father with the help of a rabbi. It didn't go well, and he said he wouldn't be able to talk to me ever again.
Today, in addition to being a student, Abby is a blogger, speaker, and outspoken activist within the trans community.
For people who are struggling themselves, first of all, know we are out there. There's so many people who are gonna unconditionally accept you and support you. You can and will succeed. I'm in a relationship with an amazing woman. I am excited and happy in every way that I was hoping that I will be, and it's really amazing. Life is better than I would have dreamt it would be.